Hey everybody, I'm going to wait a couple minutes to see who's going to show up. I have lots and lots of colors for you today. I'm going to get this all set up. Need to turn the volume down on this one. There we go. Here we are. Get this all set up. You're probably, hi Sherry. So you're probably going to hear some noise. I have my little assistant Meadow over across the desk from you, or from me, not you, me, stamping out some more images for me so that we can color lots of hair, because I did not get time after school today. Hi Stephanie, how are you? I hope you and Sherry are doing good. Hi, Paula. That's okay. That's more than fine. I'm running late after work or after school today. And Meadow's trying to extort me for chocolate. Yes, ma'am. Because she's stamping my images for me. Hand me your chocolate that you demanded for payment. This is how I pay my employees, everybody. There you go, Meadow. So we have lots of colors today to go over. I just picked some random colors. If there was a hair color that you wanted, please go ahead and tell me. But it doesn't look like I'm centered. Am I centered? No. But if there was one, hi Esmeralda, then we can go through it. Just add it here in the comments, and I will try to pull those markers and get to it if we can get to it. So, thank you, Meadow. Thank you, ma'am. So, we've already gone over blonde hair. We've done that a couple of times, and we did that with the E50, the E51, the E53, and the E55. So I'm not going to start out with this color because, well, we've already done it. So I will do this last if everybody really wants to use it. So hi Corey, how are you doing? So another color that we've already gone over a couple of times is kind of like a muted brown color, just like a, well, it's not muted brown, it's like a regular brown to me. But is E41, E42, 43, 47, and 44. So we're going to save this for last. If anybody needs to go over it, please, please, please let me know. And remember, I'm on a delay, so make sure you're like screaming in the comments or something, okay? So another color is like this auburn brown color that I did here on Nurse Luca. So, and these colors are E23, E25, E27, and 29. So I think this is a really nice color because I know that a lot of colors are blonde, brown, black hair. So I'll start with that color. And I've got stuff for black hair. And I've got stuff for black blue hair because I know some people like to put that like the blue highlights in the hair sometimes when it's black. So I grabbed some of those colors. All of these colors are also going to be listed on the description of the video and in the description of the event for us, for you to look at later. I have some electric blue hair. So I didn't know if anybody wanted some crazy blue hair to do. I've got these colors, which a friend of mine actually gave me these colors for red hair. But I'm not quite sure about that, so we'll have to play with these. That color will be a new experience for all of us. So, and then I've got the hot flamin' red hair that I showed you guys with the dots and the curly hair. And then I've also got, because this one will work for both, the YR02. And then I've got some other red hair. Okay, so I'm going to set these over here. I'm going to grab I'm just gonna grab one of these images. This is the Marcy image. So I figured we would just do it on straight hair because I figured that would be the absolutely easiest to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and swipe these really fast. So I've got E23, E25, and these are the order that I'm gonna do it in. E27 and E29. Okay, you can tell that it starts out really light, kind of just like a serious brown, but then when you get into the darker colors, it kind of turns into like a reddish brown color. So this is E23, E25, E27, and E29. There we go. So I'm going to start with the E23. And I'm just going to go ahead and do her bangs. And remember, I usually make a blueprint with the lightest color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I'm trying my hardest to keep my hand out of the way. But if it, actually, you know what? I need to, for Esmeralda and a few others, I need to zoom this in. There we go. How's that, guys? Is that better? So, hi, Dana. Hey, weren't you supposed to be working, Dana? Ooh, naughty, naughty. So we're going to go ahead and put some light colors. We're just working on brown hair, Dana. So we're doing E23, 25, 27, and 29. So now if I go off camera, y'all are going to have to tell me because, oh, it's actually, my tablet's actually working. Yay! You're welcome, Sherry. You're welcome, Esmeralda. If next time, if there's any time I don't remember, just tell me. Say, hey, lady, move that so I can see it. So I'm just, now do you guys want me to do the whole head? Or do you just want me to do the bangs so you can get an idea of the colors? Let me know. Right now I'm going to work on the bangs. So now I'm going to go to E25. Or actually, sorry, I'm talking too much. E29. Because that's my dark color. My hands, just so you know, my strokes, don't completely pay attention to my strokes today. My strokes are going to be a lot thicker because my hands are very, very shaky. I've been battling a migraine for 2 days. So please don't pay attention to my strokes because they're going to be shaky. They're not going to be straight. So it's not going to be perfect today. So sorry. So we're just going over the E23 with the E29 because we did our little mapping. So thank you, Stephanie. I get them all the time. It is nothing new in my world. It's just my hands get real shaky and it's hard for me to color nicely anyway. So now I'm going to go over and pull it out just a little bit and go in between with the 27. And my migraine is really bad because now I usually color without my glasses, but today, yeah, I need my glasses. So just pulling that out, and I'm not going all the way up here to pull it out. I'm just, here, let me show you on this one. Right here, see where it starts to come out? I'm just like halfway up the strand. And I just pull the color out. I don't go all the way back until I'm going into the white to fill in that white area a little bit. Okay, so I'm not going all the way back. Now we're finally to 25. And we're just going to pull some out. We're going to go into the center, fill in some of that white, and pull it out. Remember, don't go all the way back. Okay, so we're just doing both sides. Did you guys decide whether you wanted me to do the whole head or just the bangs? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? So that made Meadow giggle. So now we're gonna do the 23, and we're just going in and I'm just really just lightly just filling stuff in. I'm not even like trying to aim for a particular area. Okay. Just the bangs is okay? Thank you. Because then we can get through more colors. So, and they'll all look, I don't know, it kind of looks like she's got fangs with just the bangs. I don't know. Looks kind of funny. I'll have to fill the rest of it in later so it doesn't drive me crazy. Because I actually keep these just for, you know, reference purposes and stuff like that. Like we did this one and I still had it. So, okay, so there is, this is like an auburn brown. Okay, so there's our auburn brown colors. Do you have a lot to cover? We do have a few to cover, but I think we can do it in an hour. Bye, Stephanie. I hope you have a good day at work or wherever you're going. I think it was work. I'm not sure. So let's see. The next one, we're going to go ahead and we will do the blue black. Okay. And again, we'll just do the bangs. So this one, normally for black hair, I don't normally go all the way down to a C1, but I pulled it just in case. Because with a C1, it's really nice if you have a bigger image. So like if you have the long strands like this here, it's really super nice to have the C1 because then you don't feel like you're overfilling something. So the C1 is nice for if you have really long hair that you're doing. Otherwise, I usually stick to the C3, C5, C7, and C9. So we will go ahead and I'll do one just plain black, and then we will do one that is blue black, okay? So we're going to start with the C3 because we're just doing bangs. We're going to start with C3 just to do our map. And I usually do, with Marcy's bangs, they're usually about the same width. I don't think I've seen them differently. And I know that most of you are Lala fans. But so I normally just do the 3 strokes down on each side. And if you'll notice, I don't do long lines. I mean, it's just like a sketch. I do a lot of little tiny lines to get it down. So now we'll do the bottom because you always go, the best way to get those highlights in there and to make sure that it's pretty even and then it stays the same is to do from bottom, or do the tops and then come from the bottom and do dark from the bottom as well. And I just keep messing up her bottoms because my hands are too shaky today. Hey, Angela. How are you? Work must be easy or light or something today. So now we're going to move into the C9. I'm going to let you know, though, be careful with the C9. It is dark. Okay? So I'm going to just start from the bottom because that's where I'm at. And I'm just trying to go real kind of slow and easy. Toby's snoring. When is Toby not snoring? Okay, so there's the bottom. Now we're going to come from the top. Always. Hi, Annie. How are you? We're working on black hair right now. There we go. Okay, now we're going to move to C7. And this, like I said, don't go all the way back. Just go about halfway and pull it out. And you can kind of fill in the gaps up at the top. So if you see me going all the way back up, it's because I'm filling in, because like remember I told you I did like 3 lines, okay? So when you see me going all the way back up to the top, it's because I'm filling in this area here, okay? Or I just done screwed up. That happens too. So here we go, pull that out. Oh, you know what? I know what I'm missing. Alexa, play Bach.
Shuffling songs by Johann Sebastian Bach on Amazon Music.
It helps me from shaking. I don't know about you guys if you listen to music and stuff. If I have a lot to do or like when I'm on a live, Bach just seems to calm me down a little bit. So now we're going to move to the C5. Alexa, turn it down by 2, please. Okay. That way you guys don't have to deal with it if you don't like Bach. Only I can hear it. And we're just filling in the black hair. Okay. So now we can do the, here it is, the C3 again. Has anybody ever had any markers, like had so many markers on their table that they're like, what did I just do with that marker? It was right here. That is my desk right now. So we filled that in, but we kind of lost our darker colors because that's what happens when you go from dark to light, is you get stuff muted a little bit. So I'm going to go back to the C9 and I'm just going to put in a few little strokes just to really bring in those black highlights again, so it doesn't look like I'm trying to give her gray hair instead of black hair. Okay, so here we go. Now we're bringing the nice black tones back into her hair. Now you can either leave it that way or you can even bring 7 back in just a little bit. Just with some thin strokes. Like barely touching the paper. Like I know sometimes it looks like I'm putting a lot of strokes, but I'm just like, I'm barely letting the pen touch my paper. And see, like sometimes I'm not even touching the paper. So that's why sometimes it looks like I'm putting in like just a ton of strokes, but I'm really not. It's because my pen doesn't always touch the paper. Okay, so there's your basic black hair. Now we're gonna go in And we're going to do some black and blue hair. Not bruise hair, just black with blue highlights, okay? So we'll go ahead and I'm going to do the B39 and the B41. If you don't have those colors, you can also do it with almost any other blue, really. So I'm going to start with my C3 again, just so I know where I want to put my strokes. Hi, Marina. How are you? So we're starting in with just the mapping of her hair. There we go. And I'm just going from the top to the bottom. I'm sure you just need to turn volume down. That's funny. You're like the third person in here today that's supposed to be working. At least I know you love me more than work, I guess. So now I'm going to go in with my C9 since I have my blueprint. And I'm just going to put in some tiny strokes. Here we go. And then back up to the top. My hand is too shaky. So sorry, this looks really poopy. There we go. And I'm going to go in with my 7 and do the same thing as before that we did with the last black hair. But I'm just pulling it out just slightly, okay? Because we still have to go in with that B49. And I'm sorry, I'm kind of going out of the lines with my hand being shaky, but we're just doing hair, so I don't think it matters right now. At least I hope it doesn't. So just from the bottom. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my B49, or 39, I'm so sorry, 39. And I'm just going to pull this out just a little, not a lot, just a little. It's just baby steps. And I'm just putting small strokes. Now I'm going to use the B41 and I'm going to pull out some of that 39. And going from a 9 to a 1 can be kind of harsh sometimes too. So if you're having problems blending it, it's not meant to be completely blended. It's supposed to have those harsh lines so that you can see the contrast with the lighter color, or the contrast with the darker color. So if you wanted to, you could always just go back with some like thin lines and put some more in there. Okay, excuse me, and that'll really bring that contrast up even more without it looking muddled. but don't put a lot. Make sure you leave your contrast in there. Okay, so there is our B39. I really hope that I'm remembering to stay on camera for you guys. It looks like I need to scoot out just a little bit. Or maybe I just need to go back and make sure my tablet is right. Nope, my tablet's right. Okay, there we go. For some reason, my tablet will show me the right picture, and then every so often it'll like show me this much of the picture instead of the whole picture. I don't know what its deal is. So there is that blue black. Now there's also blue black, and we'll go ahead and use this one now. And I've kind of been doing bangs for a while, so I'm just going to go ahead and go in with my C9, and we're going to do the lighter blue black. So let's see. And I'll probably just do her bang on this one too. She didn't have bangs, she's only got the one, so if you want me to do the longer hair, just let me know. So that was my C9. Now I'm going to do the C7. And this is so that you can just show some light highlights. It's not supposed to be quite as much as the other one. So now we're going to use the 5. And you can do this with pink colors. You can do it with yellow colors. You can do it with any colors that you want, because all it is the feathering. So you can see I only put a little bit of 5 in there, but instead of going to my 3, I'm going to grab my B1 and my B00. I'm going to start with B01, and I'm going to pull that black out a little bit with the C1, or the B1, sorry, B01. And you can kind of go up and fill in the white spaces. And then you can go in with the B00 and lighten that up even more. Now, if you don't like how much blue is in there and you want to tone it down a little bit, you can always go in with C3 and add a little bit of black if you want. And that'll tone it down to where it's just got that blue highlight. Okay? So there is our black hair and our blue black hair. So let's see here. This one was C3, C5, C7, and C9. And the order was C3, C9, C5, C7, and C9. Okay, so this was black, just straight black hair. This one was C9, C7, C5, B01, B00, and then at the very end, if you want, it's optional for some C3 in there. And this was black with light blue. Okay? And then this one was C3, C9, C5, C7, and then we had B39 and B41. And this one was black with, what do you want to call it? Dark blue? There we go. Okay, so there is 3 distinctively different blues that you could go with, just depending on your project and what you have going on. So there is that one. Now, let's see. We can do the red that we did with the dots. So you can see what that looks like, ouch, without the dots. And we are going to start with the YR02. And we're just going to go out like we do normally with our little blueprint. And then I'm going to go to the R46. Okay. So, and we're going to go right over the top of our little blueprint. There we go. And with reds, you have to be really careful because the colorless blender does not take red out. All it does is make it expand and make it some big, huge mess. So you got to be kind of careful with your reds. So now we're doing the R05. And then we're going to go back to our YR02. And we're just going to fill that in a little bit for a little contrast. And then we can go back to the R46 and bring those highlights back out. Or not the highlights, but the low lights. There we go. And you don't always want everything just absolutely blended, 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 blended. Sometimes you want to have those lines, those strokes, especially in hair. So this one was Fire Red. And we used YR02, R46, R05, and then we went back to the R46. Or no, we went YR02 and then back to the R46. I'm so sorry today having a migraine doing this. So, but there we are for the red, or one of the reds anyway. So I'm going to grab her and we're going to do this other red that we're going to use all of these colors for. I might need to use a different image though. I'm going to try it on this image because it gives me a little bit more range instead of just doing the bangs on this one. So this one's really good, especially the more markers you have, the more space you want to have to work with. The less the space, the less the markers you need. Sometimes, not always. So we are going to start, I'm not going to start with this super dark red, which is R59. I'm going to set that aside and I'm going to start with the R29. And I'm skipping the blueprint this time because we've been coloring for a while, so we should be warmed up. And I'm just going to go through her hair. And of course you don't have to be doing this one. You can use whatever image you want to use, okay? And I'm just going through her hair. And these are just going to be the low lights of her hair. And this is going to be some fire hot head too. So after that one, we are going to go to YR09. And I'm just going to bring that out just a little bit. And I'm going to put some in between the spaces that I did the R29. Not going out a whole lot, just a tiny bit. You guys are really quiet. You guys must be either working hard at work or working on coloring your stuff. There we go. Now I'm going to use my R04. And I'm going to pull that out just a little bit. And just maybe fill in a few little tiny spots, little white spots, not much. But you can probably by now see that using this many markers on that one little strip of hair probably would not work very well. So now we're down to the R02. And while I'm coloring this in, I'm coloring not all of it. I'm just kind of wherever with the tip of my pen, and I'm leaving some of the white in there. Not coloring all of it out. Because while the YR02 is still going to be our highlight color, our contrast color, the white still helps that along a bit. So now I'm going to go in with my R59, and I'm going to really catch those low lights. Hi, Dana. I'm glad you snuck in. Makes me feel loved. But I hope you don't get in trouble at work, because that would be bad. Very bad. So we're just doing, here we go. I'm just getting the bottom and bringing that out. But it's when you have a really dark color like that for your low light, it's easier to bring that in last so you can see where you absolutely want it. Or sometimes, in some cases, if you actually even need it. So now I've got my R29, and I'm just doing some just random little strokes, just tiny, tiny strokes. And I'm barely touching my pen to the paper. Just pretend like you have a paintbrush and you're just doing tiny, just wispy, small strokes. And I'm just gonna, the R04 or the R09 is the last color I'm gonna go in with. And it's just to tone down the other two just a tiny, tiny bit. It's not to blend it. I'm not blending it. I'm leaving the strokes as they are, because with hair, you don't want to blend all the way. You want it to have those strokes. You want to see those lines, because that's how our hair is. And that's what keeps you away from looking like you just have a big, huge rat's nest dreadlock mess in your hair, okay? We'll do dreadlocks some other time, and then you can blend all you want. So there is the red hair. This is super red hair. Maybe this is fire red, I'm not sure. So we started with R29. If you need your blueprint because I did not start with a blueprint. If you need your blueprint, start with your YRO2, okay? That's an R. So start with your YRO2, and then we're going to do R29, and then we did YR09, what was that? That wasn't it. What did I do with that other pen? Here it is, 04. And then YR02, then we did R59, R29, and then one last time we did R09. Okay, so there's a lot of 9s, but the difference between the 9s, because the 9 is the darkest, mostly saturated, but the difference between the 9s is this one, the 5 is going to have more gray than the 2, which means it's going to be more muted. This is going to be brighter. Okay, and then with the 0, that's the brightest, but it's heavily saturated in that color. So just remember, you want to go with your darkest first. So that is another bit of red hair. Let's see, what do we have left? Oh, we have that one red hair that I've never tried before that I thought I'd give a go with you guys so we can figure this out together. So let's see, my friend gave me Y21, Y15, Y26, Y24, or YR24, so that's gonna go in there, and E39. Now, when I'm unsure, when a friend gives me a combination and I'm like, how in God's green earth am I supposed to put these together? Because sometimes just looking at the numbers, even I don't know. So I usually just put a stroke on there and I say, okay, this one was Y15, and then I've got Y21 that's just, it's a little bit lighter. So Y21, and then I already know that Y26, I know that's going to be darker because of the 6. So Y26, and then YR24 you would think would be between the 1 and the 5, but that's definitely darker than the 5 because of the red tone. So that's going to go right there. So Y24, and then obviously E27 is going to go at the end. So if you have colors, or someone gives you colors, if I even give you colors and you're like, what in the heck, man? Just map it out, figure out what goes where. Sorry, I had to take a drink. So we're going to do 21, then we're going to do 15, then we're going to do 24, then 26, and then we're going to do E37. So we are going to figure out how this all goes together and whether we like it or not, okay? So, let's see. Y26 and E37. I mean, it doesn't really, it looks like a blondish, orangish tone, like a golden kind of a brown. So we will see. I'm going to start out with Y21. I'm going to map this out just because I'm not sure about these colors. And we will see how it works. This is going to be fun. Is anybody sitting there with a look on their face like, what in God's green earth is she doing? So then we want, see, 37 is our darkest. So we're going to go with 37 next over our blueprint. Has anybody tried this color? at all before? Let's see. Because I don't even know what this is supposed to look like. Dana, thank you for not leaving me hanging and telling me I am not alone, sister. Because this is, I'm wondering how this is going to turn out. It's kind of like, I don't know, to me, maybe I'm a little bit weird. Well, that's a given. But I'm a little crazy and weird. But I don't know, trying new colors that I've never tried before, it's like telling me to eat escargot and just try it out. It's one of those things that I'm just like, ooh, do I have to? And yes, I have done that, but I chased it with the martini, so I can't really say that I tried it because I didn't taste anything, because I just shoved it to the back of my throat and swallowed it with the martini, so I think I cheated on that one. So it's looking okay so far. Yeah, it is. So I'm kind of liking it. It kind of makes me think of a lion, like lion colors. Or like, I don't know, there was one year, I think, God, what year was, I was in 9th grade. And that's when that whole sun-in stuff in your hair was big. And so I put some in my hair and it turned my hair this horrid orange. I looked like a clown. It was so funny. But with the dark brown in there, that's kind of what it reminds me of, is somebody who didn't know what they were doing with the sun-in. You remember sun-in, Dana? Man, my hair was orange. It was more like RO2. It was so funny. Well, it wasn't funny at the time, but looking back on it now, it was funny. Your list of colors did not match. Where? What list? What did I do? Y21, Y15, YR15. Oh, that's what I did. Thank you, Sherry. You had to use T if you wanted to. I've never heard of that, Dana. YR24. Thank you, Sherry. Bless you, Stephen. Yes, my son is even in here watching now. So, yeah, but this is what it looks like. It just looks like summertime brown hair that has been lightened. Yeah, they always said that blondes had more fun, but not when you use the sun-in blonde. I can tell you that right now. That stuff was terrible. Okay, so there was the 15. We used the 21. That was the 31. So let's put a little bit more 15. Nope. Let's put a little more 26 in there. See if we can pull that brown out. Because maybe those lighter colors are just supposed to be the contrast. Marina, have you, if you're still there, have you ever used these colors for this? Let's see. Now I'm probably just overworking it or something. But it's looking okay. I don't know. I'm not sure I would use this for a person. I think I would probably use this for like a dog or a lion or a tiger maybe. But it just, to me, it screams more of an animal color or somebody that's used sun-in. So we'll put those colors aside. I'm going to call, I don't know what you're going to call this, but I'm going to call this Lion / Sun In hair. Okay. So I hope that was a fun color for you. Let's see. Now we have electric blue. And we have enough time. Yay. Does anybody, because we have about 10 more minutes, does anybody want to go over the other browns or the blondes? Let me know. So this one, we've got B02, B23, B28, and we're going to move that over. We've got B24. Okay, so we are going to start out. Oh, you have this stamp. Good. I love this. This actually was my very, very, very first La La Land Craft stamp. So, and I actually bought this one at the Scrapbook Expo and met Irina and had no idea who she even was. So I think that's funny. But so we're going to start out with B02 just to get our blueprint. And I'm just going to pull her bangs out a little bit. And just so you guys know, if you ever want me to try and do this differently, just let me know if you can't see very well. And if I get my head in the way, Meadow, make sure I move my head, keep my head out of the way. Because usually I'm like right up in there coloring. But I'm trying to, I think my strokes are a little bit thicker sometimes too, because I'm trying to keep my, because I usually hold my pen like this and I'm holding it like this, so I'm trying to stay out of your way. I swear. So now we're going to do B28. And this is going to be some bold Smurfy hair, just saying. So, and yes, I still love the Smurfs. And to torture my older sister, I send her pictures of Smurfs all the time, and I send her all kinds of Smurf stuff because, well, she hated Smurfs because she used to have to pick me up from school and take me home so I could watch the Smurfs because I was a spoiled brat. So now we're using B24. And as you can tell, I'm still a brat since I'm still sending her Smurf stuff. But of course, it's all out of love because she knows if I don't tease her, I don't love her. And now we're at B02. Do I ever go over the first set of strokes? Yes, I do. If I'm used to coloring the hair and I know like this Luca, let me put my pen. This Luca, if I ever, like I know, I'm used to coloring Luca hair. I'm used to coloring Marcy hair. Mona, I still do a blueprint with, but if it's hair that I haven't done before, or if it's like, let's see here. If it's one of, oh, they're under your tablet, Meadow. Can I get these, please? Thank you. So if it's like hair like this with the Aurora wings, I blueprint that every single time with the lightest color, so I know where I want my dark colors to go. And that way I don't mess it up right away with the dark colors. So this one I would totally do with the light colors. Plus it shows me, the light color will help me say, okay, well, this is in front and this is in back, or whatever I need to do before I actually go in, because I don't like coloring things twice because I messed it up. I mean, I'll color it more than once just because I want to color it more than once, but if I have to color it more than once because I messed it up, yeah, I hate doing that. So yeah, I will totally go start with the dark color first, and then I will go, you know, like I will go from light to dark and then back. I'll go dark, light, and then back to dark. So let's see. Now we're going to do BO2. And now we're going to go back. This is probably what you meant, Dana. Now I'm going back to B28 so that I can pull those dark colors out again, those low lights, and make them stand out. And with the blues, you kind of want to go back over them again because they are really harsh sometimes with the darker going into the lighter. So that's why I usually don't do a whole lot of strokes, and I'll just go halfway and pull it out. So I left the light in there, but I didn't go over it with the light again. I just put some of the blue, the darker blue in there. And even some of it, wrong end, some of it you could still pull out again if you're not satisfied. I mean, you can go and you can keep going over it with the dark again until you're completely satisfied if you want to. Just make sure you if you're going to be doing a lot of it, it's going to start getting muddled after a while, so you're going to want to let it dry for a minute. My blueprint is the lightest color, Annie, just so you know. So I usually, like when I say, oh, we're going to start out with the lightest color, I usually only do that, like, so I would do, like, because, like, right here, the crown of her head can sometimes be very confusing. So I will just start, I'm like, okay, here's the headband. So I know I want dark here. And then I'll do, like, one stroke and another. And that's where my dark will go. And then right here it'll be dark. See, I'm not doing this very well. There we go. So, and I'll just, that way I know where the darkest parts of her hair are going to go. And if you start with a light color when you're doing the blueprint, then you really, Putty, can you guys hear my dog, my crazy dog playing with her toy? Let me see that thing. Oh, gross. She carries these things around all the time, and she just trots them around like they're her little babies, but they have squeakers in them. So I don't know if you should call that child abuse or not. So, Putty, don't let her chew on that, Stephen. So, but I will put that there because it's easier. Now, if I go in with my dark, let's see, the B28, and I'm going along, and everything's good, and everything's fine, like right here, but then I'm like, oh, I didn't want it to go down that far. Well, then I don't have to. I don't have to worry about it, because it's a light color, it'll blend in later, but I didn't make the mistake of doing it with my dark color, which, you know, it's easier to go darker than it is to go lighter. Because if you start going lighter after, you know, you've done a dark color, well then, you know, everything just gets muddled and washed out because you're trying to lighten it up, and it's just a wreck. So, and then you can also see if you've done the blueprint, you can be like, oh, well, I want another stroke there. And you can, because now you're with the dark color and you don't have to worry about it. So let's see, now I would do my 24. And And this is still a little dark, so I can go around her little headband there and pull it down. And the next color is where you will want to fill in at the roots of the hair. Not really bad, but just a little bit. But I usually do just one section at a time because then it's easier to control what you're doing and what you have going on. See, and now I'm like, okay, now I need some hair right here. But luckily I didn't go there with the darkest blue because that would have messed it up and it would have looked bad. So that's why I use a blueprint. So there we go. And it looks like I'm starting to lose people. Yep. And I've run over. So I'm really sorry if I took up your time. You like it? Good. I'm glad, Annie. Are you going over the same strokes with B? I'm going, basically what I'm doing is with B28, I'm pulling my stroke. Okay, so there's my B28. Okay, or here, I'll do like, bless you, Meadow. So, and then like, okay, for hair. And then what I'm doing with the B24, oops, this is 23, not 24, bless you, Meadow. That's okay. So what I'm doing in between, and this is for these strokes, I just made them bigger so that you can see, is if I'm going over this, I'm only doing halfway and I'm pulling it out, okay? So halfway and pulling out, okay? And then I'm going in between for more strokes. And then with the 23, I will go ahead and do right here. And then I'll pull these out, go like halfway and pull them out. And then if there's any white, then I'll go in and just kind of fill it in, okay? But when you're blending, don't, I noticed when we did the Zoom the other day, a lot of people were doing like, they would do their dark color, okay? And then they were doing their next, but instead of going halfway in and blending these ends out, they were going all the way back and blending. You don't want to do that because then that's where you really get muddled, okay? So when you're blending, and I keep pulling off the wrong end. When you're blending, okay, you want to just go like halfway. Just halfway. Okay? And then you do, when you go to your next color, you go halfway to your second color, not halfway where you went on the dark, but halfway on your second color, which would be right here. Okay? Kind of like that. And then your lightest color, what you do is you pull out about halfway. But what you can do, if you've got lines like this, you can run over it with the light and blend it, but not blend it completely out. Okay? So remember, only go halfway, and then if you have lines, go back with your lightest color and just very lightly, not a whole bunch, just real, you know, just enough to get rid of those, lines. Okay? Oh, I'm so glad that makes sense, Dana. Thank you. You guys don't even know how much it makes my day that I actually help you guys. I wasn't going to start doing this, but then after a few people have said, oh, you've really helped, it really made me feel better, and I feel like I'm actually doing some good. So thank you so very much. But let's see here. This is the electric blue, or what I like to call Smurfy hair. So I'm going to put electric Smurfy hair. And this was, let's see, what did I use again? B28. So we started with our blueprint was B02. And then we went B28, B24, B23, and then B02. And then you can always repeat the process if you decide you want some more strokes in there. Oh, thank you, Paula. Thank you so much. Okay. So I think we actually got through all of the colors. This is awesome. I'm so happy. So I'm going to let you go for now, but I put some more stuff up there. I put another Zoom up in the events. We have Latino skin up in the events. And then I also put up there today, I put up there that Tina is going to do a background for us using La La Land Crafts Gone Fishin' Luca. So just in time for Father's Day. And I'm so excited and so happy that she decided she wanted to do that for us. So if you have time, that's going to be June 13th. But go look at the events and you will see that I have stuff scheduled out. Okay? I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you guys had fun today and that you learned. Okay? Thank you. Bye, everybody.